to get them to act in a certain way. And you know, in the state courts, that's much more a threat because people will say, you won't get elected. In fact, when I was in reporter's court once, I had a sentencing, and the mother of the young man that I sentenced based on a jury's verdict came up to me in a church and said, "You'll never get elected again. And I'm going to tell Reverend Holly." And I was like, okay, that's all right with me. That's why the Court of Appeals and Dress existed. Not only that, Reverend Holly is one of my favorite preachers, and I'm sure they give me a little shout out every now and then. But that is more increased in the time of social media, where not only can you intimidate a judge by just saying something to them in public or when they come out of their chambers or out of the courthouse, but where you can blast all over social media the negative things that you want to say about them and their decisions. And they don't really have a way of answering that because the judges speak through what? Orders and their opinions, and they don't get to have a press conference to tell you, here are the reasons why I made this decision, and here are all the underlying things. They have to say all of that in their opinions, and we try to write them so that the general public can be able to read them and know what we have decided. Another thing that is considered a threat is disinformation. We're all victims of that. Very often we aren't even sure, those of us who keep up on everything, what is really the truth behind something.
شو يا جماعة الخير يا الموريتانيين في أمريكا، هذا المركز اللي احنا قاعدين فيه هذاك اللي هم استضاف جميع البوليس والقضاء. احنا الحمد لله مبوناته. أنا عنا مستقبلا يلا نشتغلوا على مركزنا احنا الإسلامي. إذا جد كنا عاطين الآخرين يلا نبذلوه من أجل نحن مرسل.
And then you can go to PBS, and you're even another one. So we have disinformation that tends to threaten us as well, and that's really, really difficult to combat. And finally, he said what I thought was, and maybe you know the Chief Justice didn't mean it to be a liberal thought, but I took it in a liberal way. And that was that he said, one of the threats is the defiance of lawfully entered judgments. And that it's the work of the courts to be fair and impartial and say why they are doing what they're doing. And it's really the work of the other two branches of government to support the judge's interpretation of the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America. And I think that probably is the biggest threat, that we need to make sure that people continue to have confidence in the courts and the orders that they put forward. Even if the Chief Justice didn't mean it in a liberal, forward, progressive thinking way, I think we have to take it that way. And all of us work together on that, because part of what he says is that the executive branch and the legislative branch have to work with the judiciary by supporting that concept, that they will put out orders and that they'll be orders supporting the Constitution, and if they are, that people should obey them. And I say that in this setting because law enforcement works with the judges. I mean, today I'm trying a criminal case, and I'm hearing from various segments of law enforcement. And so I'm listening to them. The other side is listening to them. And in the end, there's going to be a judgment that I hope everyone will support. And so as we gather and we continue in Ramadan, I know one of its emphasis is spiritual reflection. And I know another is fasting. And fasting, I think, points to discipline. And I would be the first one to say that on the discipline part, I'm probably going to go back for seconds. But in any event, one of the other things that you do during Ramadan is that you call to yourselves to make certain that you are creating and maintaining your social connections and that you're increasing your charity and gratitude to others and that you are supporting your generosity to humankind, both here and abroad. And so I thank you again for inviting me, and I hope I'll be back again. And this is a great way to break the fast.
Good job. Good job.
As a courtesy to our acting U.S. Attorney, Judy Pack, can you come forward? Followed by Sheriff Dial after him.
Good evening, everyone.
قصة ناري.
Thank you so much for having me here tonight, and my colleague Latrell Livingston, who many of you know, who's our Executive United States Attorney. Ramadan Kareem. I'd like to acknowledge all of my federal, state, and law enforcement partners that I've worked with for so many years, and all of the new friends that I now have by coming here, members of the community, members of different community organizations, members of the judiciary, and other esteemed guests. All of you, thank you for having us here tonight. We have broken our fast by breaking bread together, and I am grateful for that opportunity. And what I have learned when I was preparing, just a few thoughts for tonight, and I was reading about Iftar, I was reading about Ramadan, and trying to learn more about this beautiful faith. And you practice gratitude by night and discipline by day, as has been described to us. And there's a commitment every year at Ramadan, a recommitment to your faith, to peace, to uplifting your community members, to be reminders of all of those things that you believe in. And I have much to learn from your faith, and I'm grateful for that opportunity to learn more about your faith. And in the spirit of Ramadan, I commit to you that the United States Attorney's Office is committed to upholding the rule of law, to protecting all of us in the Eastern District of Michigan. There's no one person, no one kind of person, no one real person of any kind of religion that we protect more than another. We are here to uphold the rule of law and protect us all. I recommit that to you tonight in the spirit of Ramadan.
Wow, great.
There's also a beautiful oath that we take when we become assistant United States attorneys. I won't recite the whole thing to you now, but we raise our hands to the square in front of people like the wonderful Judge Denise Pagewood, and we take an oath to protect the citizens of our district against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and we practice upholding the law without fear or favor. And so I just wanted to say that to you as my commitment to you as the acting United States Attorney in the spirit of this beautiful celebration as you break the fast. Thank you for breaking bread with us. And one of the things that strikes me about this is that when you break bread with your brothers and sisters, you know them, you know their faces, you know who they are, you know their hearts. And when you do that, it makes it easier to work through difficulties, problems, anxiety, and uncertainty in times like these. And so I see you. Thank you for having me here and seeing me, and leave this commitment with you. And thank you again, Mom.